The views and opinions on the Craig L. Hayes Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts, ownership, or management. And now, on with the show.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes, and we have a great show going on today. Let's see what the date is. It's the 13th. It's the 13th of January, 2024, and we are back here at the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas in Elvis Presley's dressing room at the International Theater. And we're continuing our series on talking about the behind the scenes of what goes on behind the curtain, where all the audience gets to watch the performer, but what really goes on behind the curtain. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit, what it takes to put a show on. And today we've been given the opportunity to do this, as we've done all these shows so far, with the help and my appreciation to Cammie Christensen, president of this hotel, for her allowing us to do this in such a historic venue. Dawn Rawl, she's the entertainment vice president and marketing vice president. And John Peer, who is the technical director and entertainment director for this hotel. And they've all given me the blessing to do this, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to do this from a historic point of view in a place. And right next door to us is Barry Manilow's private dressing room. And he has a lifelong residency now. He is going to be here until he decides he doesn't want to be here anymore. So, quite the opportunity for him also. At 81, he's still going strong. He's unbelievable. One of the best shows you'll ever see in your life. So come see this. Come see Barry Manilow here and all the other shows we have going here at the Westgate. So today, someone I met, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, during Starlight Express, the days of Starlight Express, when we were, the show was operating, but he got to actually be here a little bit before I got here, doing the installation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's roller skating show. And then he moved over and started working the show, and just kept on hanging out here for a long time, and then did other venues. But we're going to talk to him about his life, and because he didn't start off in show business like a lot of us. We were in show business or doing plays at school or church or something all of our lives, but he had a different path, and his is quite interesting, and he's got a lot of stories about that, and we're going to talk to him about that. So without further ado, I want to welcome a good friend of mine, and it's so good to have him here and on this show. His name is Ed Schauer. Welcome, Ed.
Well, thank you, Craig. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's so good to have you back in this room. You haven't been back in the room since 2010?
Yep, 2010.
Wow. And in 14 years, you walk back in, and Nothing's changed, right?
Looks the same to me.
Yeah, it looks about the same. A lot of things don't change, but you and I are everywhere in this room because you and I did nothing but build stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
From risers to platforms to cages to you name it. We went at it.
Oh boy, yes we did. Tore some stuff out and put some new stuff in.
Yeah, it was nonstop building, and yeah, we had steel coming in this room all the time, having to and building things. It was quite the time, quite enjoyable, you know. But anyways, let's. I want to talk to you about you. This isn't about me. This show is not about me at all. And I want to talk to you about you, and a lot of it is. We'll start off like, where were you born? Where you raised? You know, a little bit about you, so people understand that. You know, because people have a misconception. A lot of people have this misconception that everybody that's in show business has done it all their lives since they were born. They popped out, slid down the fire pole, boom, I'm on a stage. Not so.
No.
No,
not at
there's
all.
lots of paths of people that come into this thing, you know, and yours is really cool. We'll get into some of your career before you got into this career, which to me was always fascinating. Your time as an iron worker, but let's start off a little bit before that and just where you were born, raised, went to school, and then eventually how you got into being a stagehand.
Okay, well, I was born and raised in Southern California, San Bernardino, and born in San Bernardino and then raised in Yucaipa, California, and went through school there. And during that time, way before I even could drive a car, I had a little mom and pop welding shop down the street, so I'd ride my bike over there and watched him, and he'd let me put a hood on and watch him do it. And then when I got in high school, the auto shop teacher had a welder, and but he didn't know anything about it, so I would scratch a bunch of welds, and then I would go back over to the welding shop, and he'd tell me what I was doing wrong, you know, too fast, too slow, too far away.
Yeah.
So then the next day I go back and do it again, and so I was very interested in welding from a young age, and that kind of kicked off my career of becoming an iron worker, so...
So you were born in San Bernardino area, basically?
Downtown San Bernardino.
Oh, man.
Yep. The hospital's all tore down now. But
Yeah, San Berdu.
yeah.
Yeah.
And well, actually, I went to Bloomington through 4th grade and then 5th through senior Yucaipa.
Yucaipa, I think you told me one time Yucaipa was Indian for where old people go to die or something
Yeah,
like that.
I think my coach said that. I think.
Yeah, the town was pretty old.
Oh yeah. There was 128 people in my graduating class.
128. That's more than my youngest son. He had 53 or something like that in his. So up there in Enterprise.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So-
pretty small town.
Yeah. No, it's and that's so funny because like I said, people don't realize that people come from all over the world, from all over weird places, and then they end up here.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, that was kind of funny in my aspect how I got to Vegas. But so then, I was married young, and we traveled up north, and I got into the ironworkers up there, the union, and did my career up there, and then speeded up. And then the last 5 years as an ironworker, I traveled around building prisons. So then I met my new wife. Down in Blythe, building a prison. And then when that was finishing up, we decided to move to Vegas because there was a lot of iron going up at the time, and she got a job at the Riviera, and and I went to the hall here, and that's how I become over here. Couldn't get called out because I didn't belong to that local, and so...
yeah, the ironworkers, right?
Yeah, the ironworkers local.
They kept it pretty close to the outsiders, some guys on outside. locals and stuff.
That's norm. If you don't belong to that local, you don't get called out first. It's
Yeah.
So I was having a hard time getting called out, but before all that, I did do some interesting work, and I worked on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit because that was always very interesting because people think that bridge has just been like it is since it was
Yeah.
opened in the 30s, and it's like, oh no, it's
No,
been
no.
changed changed out.
All the superstructure underneath, the roadway was widened by a foot, the bridge was lightened by a third, and we were working nights because of the traffic, replacing all the roadway sections and the girders underneath, and busting all the rivets out and redoing it with bolts, and I was on the welding gang on that, and we welded for 6 different strips, the whole length, 5/8 steel plate deck, smudged dark, and so there's only 2 of us that did that, me and another fellow that did all that welding.
That's a lot of weld.
A lot of welding. 150 feet a night.
Wow.
5/8 steel, 100% full penetration welds.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went through some rod on that, didn't you?
Yeah, the spool, wire, yeah.
Or was it wire feed on that one too?
Yeah,
Okay.
dual feed, yeah. Submerged dark, they call it. People think it means underwater, but it's actually because of the flux. You can't see the actual weld going on. It's submerged, so you don't even have to wear a welding hood.
Oh, really?
Nope.
So it lays the actual
And it's
arc and
under-
everything is underneath
Underneath the flux.
the flux.
Yeah.
I'll be
it's
darned.
Like it's sanded.
See, that's something that you didn't tell me about before. That's really interesting. I didn't realize that was what you were doing.
Yeah, the machine itself is, it's all speed, so you have to make the machine go the right speed and the right width and all this stuff. Well, you can't tell for the first 1.5 feet if you're doing any good because it takes that long for the machine to move so you can look at the weld, then adjust it to whatever it needs to be done. So.
What is the advantage of that? What over sticking and all that? It just
Well, stick was way too slow, and you can't use MIG because of the gas coverage. The wind out there, so it's just besides the strength, it's just quicker.
quicker and easier to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, and yeah, a lot of people don't realize on that bridge. You used to tell me the stories about doing it. Excuse me. You did lighten it, even doing everything you guys did, but the old bridge was much heavier.
Heavier.
The roadway was much heavier.
Yep.
By a third heavier, and and when you guys got done, basically, it had a nice little crown to it.
Oh, yeah, a lot
because
more,
it had a crown to it, and because it was lighter now.
Both columns are out of plumb too. They're leaning out.
Yeah, that to me is amazing too. It's like, but it'll take you all the weight you can imagine, and remind me that when they were going to open it, when you guys were all completely done, we'll go back and talk more about it. But when we were done, they opened it up so people could just walk up and down the bridge, and there was so many people, it flattened it out.
Flattened it out.
Leveled it out.
Yep, it did.
That tells you how much weight people in big masses have. I mean,
Oh,
just
boy, yeah.
flattened that whole big bridge right out. Whew.
Yeah, it was something. It was quite an experience. 23 months I was on that at night. Saw a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, you can tell us a couple, because I know you got you were there and like 20 people committed suicide, right, where you guys were working basically, and
21. I witnessed 21 people jump in 23 months.
and people say, "Wow, that's like one a month." Yeah, but that's not including days. That's
Yeah,
not including, that's other parts of the day they're
That
doing
was
it
just
too.
the 8-hour shift I was on.
Yeah, from like 9 at night till 5 in the morning.
Yep.
You saw 21 people go, so you just triple that basically, and you're probably getting close to the number that are going over.
Nowadays they have a fence, I guess, now, but they didn't have it then on the side, so you can't jump.
Just jump, huh?
Yeah, but back then they didn't.
You got to be serious. That's what, 250 feet or something like that down to the water.
Yep, about 250. Yep, they.
It'd be a hell of a rush, though.
That was from 82 to 83, 1982 to 83. I worked on that. Yeah, there was some crazy stuff out there.
Yeah.
Drunk ran into the back of the crane one time, and all kinds of stuff.
It's just not dangerous from the point of view you guys are, you're up there, you're taking huge sections of this road out,
Yeah.
which means you put a huge hole in the bridge.
Oh yeah, you could have drove a truck in it. Yeah.
And we're not talking, a 10 by 10 hole. We're talking how many feet by how many
It's
feet?
like 14 feet by 50 feet.
14 by 50.
And we do 3 sections each night. So we gain 50, every 2 nights we gain 50 feet because you'd have to do one side of the bridge and block the road and then the next side. So every 2 nights you gain 50 feet of sections. So and the sidewalk was changed. Everything. Yep.
Yeah, so basically, so they you took out those sections and they had basically prefab ready to go. You just
Right.
drop them in, bolt them in, weld them in, up. There you go. There's that part, and move on. Another section. Here we go.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, 50 foot by 14. Yeah, no problem. Cars, trucks, just about anything could go right into that hole.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, what a rush. I mean,
Yep.
ooh, one time rush, you know, for about 10 seconds. Splash.
Oh boy. Yeah. A lot of stuff fell in the hole when we were on it.
Yeah,
Tools and
yeah. People don't realize that, you know, stuff, even working on it, you know, stuff falls in there when you're working, you know, there's a big hole there and someone's pushing something and over the edge it goes.
well, we were underneath it too with the what we call floats, which is like a big piece of wood tied with 1-inch manila rope, so you know it moves around. So we're underneath there. I particular wasn't, but a bunch of ironworkers were, you know, busting the rivets and taking the sections out.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you drove in a hole, you would have taken them out too.
Yeah. Dangerous stuff. And you actually at one time got to go to the top of one of the towers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, how was that, like 800 feet up or 700 or something like that? It's
Yeah, it's about 750 feet.
750 feet to the top. And
It's like 500 foot from the roadway to the top of the tower, and then another 250 to the water.
it's a long ways up there. And you actually have a picture of you standing up there on top of that big old tower. You
Yep.
showed me that picture way back when. I was like, you're out of your mind, man.
Yeah.
On top of the light or whatever was up there. That,
Yeah,
you know,
the old
the beacon.
Beacon light, yeah.
Yes. You're standing up on top there, and you got a picture of you there with your feet hanging over the edge. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah.
Well, I've done some very interesting jobs as an iron worker. It was, you know, it was a fun trade, and witnessed a lot of, you know, accidents where people got killed and stuff, but it was a good trade.
Now, I know you did connecting. Did a lot of
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't main. That wasn't my main job, but yes, I probably did just about everything involved with ironwork, as far as decking to connecting to bolting up. To
Tell us a
plumbing.
little bit about, tell just a little bit about each one of those, what it means. We're saying connecting, people are going, connecting what, you know?
Well, how it works is, you know, you first stand the columns up, and then you have a beam comes between the two, and so it takes 2 connectors, one on each column. We'll stick a bolt in each end, cut the crane loose, and you know the iron. There's only 2 people that actually put the iron up.
Yeah.
You know, they just stick one bolt in each end and spin a nut on it and tighten it up with a hand, and then they keep going. And there's another gang comes along that and stuffs all the rest of the bolts, and then there's a plumb up gang comes along and they guy it off and plumb it. And then they rattle the bolts.
Yeah.
And then the welding gang comes last and comes up and welds it where it need be. you know.
Yeah. So when he says, you know, guy it off and plumb it up, you know, if that's not done, then your building's going to look like kind of a spaghetti thing going up all over the place. Yeah. It's just making it straight so that from the bottom to the top, it's straight, you know.
Yep.
And it doesn't have all these nice little curves and.
So when you hang the stone on the outside, so when you walk down the street and you look up and it's all straight, shiny, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me a story one time when you're working on it and something happened to the stone and it fell off the crane or something and went all the way down right into the
Went through Market Street.
Market Street into the subway area, and
Yep.
that's one of those dope.
Oops. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, well, that's the end of that job. I'm gonna pack my lunch. Bye, guys.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of those.
Yeah, it's a mistake, but boy, that nobody got hurt or killed.
No,
That is
nobody got hurt. No.
so thankful because that's because those. And when we're talking about it, okay, he's talking about a beam when you know guys are connecting beams. How much does a beam weigh, basically?
Oh, it all changes, but from the ground, they're heavier. Then as you get up, it gets lighter. But I know they can weigh tons. They can weigh 10, 15 ton. That columns,
One beam or column can weigh 10, 15 tons.
They're. Oh yeah.
And then you have the stone hanging on the outside. It's not light either.
Oh no, it's usually marble. Real marble.
And it's got to weigh outrageous. So these things aren't exactly the lightest things on the planet.
Oh no. Probably 8,000-9,000 pounds per section, per panel. Yeah.
It's amazing how this stuff just stays up. Doesn't just crush its way down into the dirt.
Oh boy, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's then I worked on another one I worked on, which was really interesting, was the Moffett Field wind tunnel for the government. And at one time we were the largest, and then I can't remember, but another country made one bigger, so that we had to add on to ours. So
Well, can't let anybody else do it.
yeah, it was like it was like 10 stories inside the building, but it was hollow. With these big, there was 4. They weren't jet engines; they were regular engines, but they had like a 30-foot props on them, like in a honeycomb, for a bee honeycomb. In the wind, it's 300-mile-an-hour wind inside the building without blowing it down.
Yeah.
And we put the vanes. What I was working on was the vanes at the end of it would turn like a airplane wing up on edge, would turn so the wind would. It was horseshoe shaped, so the wind would divert, so it wouldn't blow out the back of the building. So
Yeah.
So that was another interesting one.
And that's just for testing planes and aerodynamics and all the other stuff on planes and stuff. Yeah, that's
Yep. Yeah, that was for military at Moffett Field there. And they were testing at that time. It was I think it was Apache or one of those helicopters, one of those. I don't know. I don't know that it was all secret stuff, but it was way before it was known.
Yeah, these things are, so-called top secret and stuff, and it's amazing how many people in the trades, construction stuff, see all this stuff before it happens, because they're building the facilities to hold them. They're building the facilities they're going to test them. And they're looking and going, oh, that's a cool-looking helicopter. Just keep on building. We see nothing. We know nothing.
We weren't supposed to talk about it or anything.
Yeah, but you guys saw it years before anybody else saw it.
Yep, they were just testing them. Yeah.
That's amazing, that type of stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so that was a good job. I like that. And like I say, at the end of my career, I started putting up prisons and Pelican Bay, and had to work on that.
That's a Supermax, right?
Oh yeah, that's the
meaning Supermax meaning
the worst of the worst.
The worst. Yeah, you have to be. You're not good at another prison. You have to go to something that's even worse than anybody else.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that go there that are. There's 2 different things in prisons. There's the security housing unit, which is called a SHU, and that's for the bad guys. And then there's general population, people that didn't do that bad, but they get to get out and play baseball and run around and do exercise. But in the SHU, you're in your cell 23 out of 24 hours a day, and can't see daylight. There's no windows, and you can't see any other cellmates because they're not bars. They're like expanded metal cell doors, and so you're in there by yourself. Can't talk to anybody. Can't.
Enough to drive you crazy, but they had to be fairly crazy to go in there anyway. Now, was that where Charles Manson was?
No, he was in Cochrane.
Cochrane, okay. Yeah. All right. I remember he was in some places really tight security because
same
type of setup. Yeah.
Well, and then.
But there's a big. As I remember, I'm going back a long time because you used to tell me some of these stories. But I haven't seen you in 14 years, 15 years now, if you want to call it. But you'd go in there to weld things and stuff like this, and if you had, 25 welding rods, you got checked into the room or something with 25 welding rods, and you had to check out 25 welding rods. What was left of 25 or whatever it was. So.
Yep. Otherwise, we were locked down.
Yeah.
Until we found it.
Yeah, because And because,
Yeah, well, because it becomes a weapon.
yeah, you can stab somebody with one of those
They
things.
can
you know.
make some stuff out of
They make stuff out of anything. you know.
anything. They heat this up. They'll put this heated up and like a water bottle, a plastic water bottle, and they'll shape it into a shank.
Yeah.
You know, they got some. That's all they have on their is time.
Yeah, they have 23 hours basically a day to sit there and think of ways they can do things and get crazy, and
Yep.
you know,
It's unbelievable. Yeah. All you have to do is work on one. You won't want to go there.
no, I don't want to go there, and I've never worked on it. Just the idea of being locked up behind bars. Nope, nope,
No.
nope. I'll avoid all of that like the plague. you
Get to
know.
go in and meet all your new buddies.
Yeah, these are my new friends.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah, bizarre stuff. Yeah, I'm never going to work on one or even go in there just as a trial run per se. you know.
No, nobody does. Nope.
So prisons and so Pelican Bay. You did the one in Blythe. Blythe. Remind me where Blythe is.
Blythe's between, say, Indio and the Colorado River
Okay.
on Interstate 10. Yeah. And it's in California. But,
Yeah.
they, that was another, well, they never build prisons where it's nice. It's you're out
no,
in the
why
middle
would
of
you?
nowhere.
Yeah.
Except Pelican Bay. That was beautiful, but
Yeah, but you don't build them in the nicest places because why would you waste that real estate for a bunch of guys that's in
Yep.
trouble? It's like the Indian Springs one here. It's out in the middle of the desert, nowhere. So it's like I mean, literally, it's miles away from any road, from anything.
Yep.
So it's just sagebrush out there. So it's pretty obvious if you walk out of there, you get out. It's like it's that guy over there walking past that sage. You're not going to get away, guys.
No.
No. It's
yeah, nobody's ever got out of Pelican Bay, and they won't because it's electrocuted too. It'll kill you, not just shock.
it's shock to kill. It's not shock to drop you. It's just it's like bzz, gone.
Yep.
All right, call the morgue. Have 'em-
Yep.
well, that's incentive right there not to try. So, gee whiz. Wow. So, well, that's believe it or not, Ed, that's the first episode right there.
Alrighty.
They go by pretty quick when you start talking about this stuff. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Talbot Snow take us away for a minute, and we're going to take a little break and come back with episode number 2. So Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.